Chris, did you just kind of see a little more of the intensity, especially defensively tonight, that you wanted to?
Absolutely. I mean, we look a lot more like ourselves. Obviously, the start was great for us. That's what we needed. Set the tone. I thought we were pretty consistent there with everything other than the beginning of the second half. Because other than that, it was exactly the response that we needed.
Does this series feel like one that's going to have to be won on the defensive end, just kind of like just by buckling down that way?
I think for sure. I think both teams are really committed to defense. But we for sure have to take all the easy baskets out of the game, and I think try to figure out a few other things. I think that they're doing as you do in a series and it goes along. But of course, defense is going to be huge. So
message the third quarter there when they cut it to 7, called timeout. What were the things that you were looking for them to get back to at that point?
Yeah, taking care of the ball. We had like 3 or 4 sloppy turnovers, just real sloppy turnovers, and then just got kind of loose on the other end and soft there. With some of our kind of communication and our switches. But mostly it was just turnovers. Guys were frustrated, but we refocused pretty quickly. So.
Julius had, I think, 10 assists by the end of the third quarter. Just what did you see from him that enabled him to really find a good balance between scoring and playmaking tonight?
Great all-around game from him, just what we needed. We've said that when he's playing that way, takes us to another level. Guys obviously made shots, but we generated really good shots, and that's the key. What can you consistently do? Consistently, we're able to get better looks, and I thought we missed a lot of good open ones too, but we were able to keep finding a rhythm. I thought we played with much better rhythm tonight offensively. Our spacing was better. I think that allowed us to see some of the plays that were to be made. So.
Chris, do you just expect AMP to jump back up at this point?
Yeah, this one I was really worried about, actually. I thought, there's lots of ways that being an elite athlete pay off, and, being able to shake those things off certainly is one of them. But this one I was really planning on not seeing him the rest of the game, to be honest with you. So,
Chris, what did you think of Vance's offensive game tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, he stayed patient. They threw a bunch of different looks at him, whether they trapped him, whether they boxed and won him at one point. They switched heavy on him. They tried to send him to certain parts of the floor. I thought he did a really good job. He stayed aggressive getting downhill. Got to the free throw line a little bit. Shot the ball well when it came to him. So I thought he played a really good game offensively within the flow of what we're trying to do. He had 5 assists, but probably could have had some more. So.
Chris, you mentioned frustrations. Was there some with Julius in the third quarter there, and just like how was shaking it out there?
Yeah, I just think just had to settle back down and play. And give him a minute to think about things and get regrouped. And he came back in and it was awesome. So
10 made threes and 40 points from your bench. What did they give you?
Yeah, I mean, Nikhil was huge. Of course, we really needed this game from him. We challenged him yesterday to be able to contribute like this, like he has all season. I thought those guys came in. Again, we got really clean looks for them. They were super confident and knocked them down, respaced the floor really quickly. Our bench was massive, and we feel that's a strength for us. And when it bears out like this, it makes us that much tougher. So.
You mentioned the quality of the looks there. What was better about the process of how you were generating?
Our spacing. It just literally came down to spacing. I thought it was better. So.
You and Mike both referenced multiple driving kicks.
Yeah.
You had a lot of that tonight.
Yeah.
You think that's one of the ways to generate rhythm?
Yeah, I think
rather
so.
than just having it be like a one kick out?
I think they do. Well, they do a really good job of like shutting you down on the initial kickouts. So a lot of times you have to try to, find another shot. And they rotate so well, and they cover so much ground quickly, and their fly around game is amongst the best in the league. So yeah, it kind of forces you to be ready to make another play.
And then both game 1 and game 2, Jaden has been really, really consistent, it seems.
Yeah.
Steady in terms of what he's doing. Is that
Mm-hmm.
did
Yeah.
he play? I mean, not a lot of rebounds or assists, but blocks and steals.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, I think is Swiss Army knife defensively for us. So there's a bunch of matchups that he can take here that we like him on, and he just moves effortlessly, whether it's guarding a pick and roll, guarding the screener, guarding the handler, playing off, chasing guys. He just does it all so well. Yeah. So.
What different preparation did you go through to get ready after a tough loss, and then also preparing to play like a rotation of 14 guys?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it was just looking at the film and trying to recognize how poor we were, and a lot of things that we talked about that we needed to do from a game plan point. We left game 1. We weren't even sure whether the game plan worked or not, because we didn't feel like we kind of put enough into it, and so we started there, and just I thought these guys came into the series with a way different level of intensity than we did, so we had to get that where it needed to be. And we knew that this was a pivotal game in the series. As these things unfold, every game kind of takes on a different meaning. But for us, this game was huge. So, recognizing that was important.
Chris, you mentioned challenging Nikhil. Why do you feel like his production is so important for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, he has the ability to do a lot of different things. And a lot of it for me starts with his ability to knock down shots. I think we just, we needed him to just take a deep breath and just kind of stay ready and confident. I thought he had turned down some shots, over the last few games. We can't have that. And then everything flows from there for him. His creation, his ability to attack the basket, all that. We need him. We need his ability to guard multiple guys. We need his size, his length, his toughness, and so it was really important to get him a game like this.
Coach, no rebounds, no rings. They out rebounded you again. How is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, they beat us to a lot of long rebounds on the offensive glass. So something we got to continue to to look at. Yeah.
Chris, you've mentioned before that his offense has been a measure of ball movement and flow, but is that something that Nikhil has kind of maybe slid into?
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of that. Jaden.
Yeah, you mentioned Jaden's offense before has been kind of a measure of flow and ball movement. Is that something that Nikhil has kind of eased into a little bit?
Yeah, yes and no. I think everybody benefits when you have good ball movement, you have really good flow. I think with Nikhil, we play him on the ball a lot. And for that, I think it's just, keeping it simple, getting us into our stuff, and then staying ready for just to play his game when the ball comes back to him, which hopefully it does. Then after he makes a few plays, then he can be a little bit more aggressive for himself. You see that. But yeah, I think both are true. I think he's definitely plays better when we have a good flow, and he's not looking to have to force himself into the offense. But thanks.